Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today is really to get into the weeds on some source material detailing a pretty dark side of online interaction.
Yeah, it's focused on the coordinated harassment, I guess you'd call it,
Yeah.
targeting this creator known as MoKoN, or Mo.
And we're not just talking about typical online drama here. This looks more like, well, organized digital warfare almost.
Exactly. The sources we have, particularly around this MTP reactions group, show what looks like systematic platform abuse, really intense harassment, and creating content specifically designed to cause harm.
Harm both professionally and, psychologically. The MTP group even seems to openly plan it, mentioning a hashtag live weirdo snipe of Mo in their material.
Right, so that's what we need to unpack. How does this campaign work? What methods are they using?
And what are the effects? Both the immediate ones and maybe the longer-term consequences of this kind of really targeted attack on someone's work and mental health.
Okay, so to get the tactics, you kind of have to start with the core conflict. It seems to revolve around this idea of authenticity.
Right, the gimmick accusation. That seems to be the main weapon, labeling rivals like Triple T, AD, and Mo himself as gimmicky.
Yeah, it's like saying everything they do is fake, just for attention. And Mo pushes back hard, saying he'll never go gimmick.
So it's a battle over who's real. And from that, it seems they pivot to attack almost anything. Personal attributes, even physical status.
Precisely.
Eh.
And this is where it gets really ugly. They start weaponizing disability claims. Which is ironic because Mo actually presents himself as defending disabled people.
He does.
Yeah, he mentions a family member being targeted with hate speech by some other creators, Tim and Dan. But his own situation gets twisted.
How so? If he's defending that community, how do they spin that into an attack on him? What's the angle?
They accuse him of milking it. They try to sow doubt, questioning the specifics of his condition. Like, is his blind sight really 100% blindness?
So questioning the details to undermine the whole thing, suggesting his tools like special glasses or text-to-speech are maybe part of the act, the gimmick.
Exactly. The goal isn't necessarily proof, it's doubt. Make the audience question everything.
And it descends into absurdity, like that mention of Triple T supposedly having a battery pack. It sounds less about facts and more about just a mockery through bizarre specifics.
Right, and from that kind of narrative attack, they move pretty quickly into active real-time interference. This is what they call sniping.
Okay, explain sniping. What does that actually involve?
It's watching Mo's live stream and reacting to it as it happens on their own stream. And the stated goal is to make him start raging.
So it's not just commentary after the fact. It's live, interactive disruption. They're trying to get under his skin while he's trying to broadcast.
Exactly. Flooding his chat, mocking him in real time. He calls it stalking.
Which makes sense. It sounds like constant surveillance aimed at destabilization.
They deny the stalking label, of course.
Yeah.
They claim they just watch because it's, and I quote, fucking hilarious. But the impact on Mo seems clear stress, maybe paranoia.
And it doesn't stop at just watching and reacting, does it? The sources suggest it escalates.
Oh, absolutely. It moves from passive-aggressive viewing to direct attempts to disrupt him, to basically make it impossible for him to stream effectively.
Like trying to actually call him.
Yeah.
During his stream.
Yeah, there's talk about that. One speaker says, I could call him over and over again. He didn't like it the last time I did that. Saint Stalker now, bitch.
Wow. That's deliberately crossing the digital boundary into, well, his personal space. Trying to barrage his phone while he's live.
It's a psychological tactic, right?
Yeah.
Imagine trying to perform or host while that's happening. It's designed to break concentration, shatter composure.
And they even tried talking to him after he shut down his chat, just relentlessly poking.
Yep, trying to talk to little buddy Mo, as they put it. It confirms the goal is destabilization, pure and simple. Short-term psychological impact.
This is where it feels like a line gets crossed, though, a really serious one. When the verbal abuse and the stream disruption aren't enough, they bring family into it.
That's the severe escalation point, absolutely.
Right.
The sources detail this shift very clearly.
And it's not just casual mentions, right? It sounds quite targeted.
Extremely. Repeated, vile sexual insults and actual threats directed at Mo's sister. Things like threatening to fuck his sister, or saying, I'm an inch closer to fucking your sister.
That's beyond feuding about content. That's just cruelty aimed at inflicting maximum emotional pain by targeting someone he cares about.
Totally. And they mock his family life, too, mentioning his sister being kicked out of his chat, referencing his dad.
Yeah.
It shows a willingness to ignore any basic human decency.
The immediate effect must be immense distress, forcing him to basically lock down his interactions just to function.
Right. That's the short-term damage. But then there were the more systemic tactics, which might be even more dangerous for his online presence long term.
Okay, so this is where it moves beyond immediate psychological disruption into
Right.
trying to actually dismantle his platform, his livelihood.
Exactly. When making him rage or upsetting him isn't enough, the goal shifts to trying to get him removed, essentially. Digital warfare using the platform's own tools.
How does that start? Content retaliation.
Yeah, first they create content specifically targeting him. The sources mention AI-generated new diss tracks, trashy-ass songs aimed directly at Mo.
And Mo retaliates sometimes, like playing someone's old voicemail.
He does, which just seems to feed the cycle, honestly, that escalates things further.
And then come the accusations of platform manipulation. On both sides, it seems.
Classic tactic. FTP claims Mo is the one manipulating things using, they allege, up to 35 accounts, bot farms, to inflate his Spotify listeners. They even give a number, 883 monthly listeners, saying it's fake.
So accuse your opponent of what you might be doing or thinking of doing.
Pretty much. But look at Mo's response. It shows the impact of the harassment. He doesn't just fight back with content. He isolates himself,
That's so.
aggressively blocking rivals like Blue and Golden, shutting down his live chat entirely. His digital world has to shrink just to cope.
Okay, now let's get into what seems like the most calculated part. Weaponizing the actual rules. Platform guidelines, legal frameworks, aiming for permanent removal.
This is probably the most critical part to understand. It's sophisticated. They discuss reporting Mo's songs, specifically citing harassment and cyberbullying.
What's the basis for the reports?
They target songs where Mo apparently mocked a rival's military career. They're actively looking for violations of the terms of service they can exploit.
And this is where the mental health angle comes in, strategically.
Yes, this is crucial. They explicitly discuss framing their complaints around the impact on their mental health. Someone claims Mo's songs are, quote, affecting my mental health where I feel like hurting myself.
That specific phrase, hurting myself, that feels like a keyword for platforms, doesn't it?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Platforms have to take claims of self-harm extremely seriously. So by using that specific language, whether genuinely felt or strategically employed, they aim to trigger an immediate strong response from safety teams. A takedown.
So they're basically co-opting the language and policies designed to protect vulnerable users and turning them into offensive weapons.
Precisely. They even talk about referencing the American Disabled Act or YouTube guidelines protecting veterans' mental health. They're trying to leverage institutional protections to deplatform Mo.
And it's not just platform reporting, but corporate routes, too.
Right. There's discussion of using music distributors like DistroKid, they call it DittoKid, but presumably DistroKid, to issue copyright strikes for using a rival's name or content in his songs.
So the long game is total annihilation. Shut down streams, delete his music, get the channel terminated.
It seems to be a comprehensive strategy, yes. Short-term harassment combined with long-term systemic attacks aimed at erasure.
You know, looking at all this, what really strikes me is how internal it all is. It feels less like competing creators trying to build an audience and more like a circular firing squad.
That's a good way to put it. All the energy, all the sophisticated tactics are aimed inwards at each other, using every scrap of personal information, every platform loophole, as ammunition. Growth seems secondary to attack.
It really maps out the escalation pathway, doesn't it? From insults and real-time sniping
to deeply personal attacks on family.
All the way to manipulating platform rules and weaponizing mental health language for takedowns.
It shows how volatile these online spaces can be. Rules meant for safety can become tools for targeted harassment campaigns, with potentially devastating effects on the person targeted.
So we definitely managed to unpack the sheer range of harassment tactics Mo faced here, and the effects, both the immediate stress and the long-term threat to his digital presence.
Yeah, the immediate disruption, the psychological toll, and then the systemic threat aimed at complete removal. It covers a lot of ground in terms of digital harm.
Which brings us to a pretty challenging final thought, I think. This whole situation, especially the part about using claims of self-harm or mental distress to get content removed, it raises a huge question for platforms, doesn't it?
Absolutely. How do you balance protecting free expression, even critical or harsh commentary, against potentially weaponized claims of psychological harm, especially when those claims tap into legally protected categories or platform safety protocols?
Right. Who gets to be the arbiter? When someone claims severe mental distress caused by content, possibly strategically, How does a platform verify that without infringing on speech? And how do they avoid becoming tools in these kinds of protracted digital conflicts?
It's a massive challenge.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line between genuine harm requiring intervention and strategic manipulation of safety systems? Something for all of us maybe to think about next time we see one of these intense online feuds playing out.